Hello, everyone. My name is Genesis. This is Lucious Talent, and today we're starting our founder series with Chris Crumb, founder of Slate Strands, a beauty brand. And Chris, introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, everybody. My name is Chris Crumb. I am the founder of Slate Strands, Slate-based Chris on Instagram and TikTok. I am building a beauty brand that focuses on embracing the gray in a positive way, high quality hair care, and also extensions for gray hair because I was an early grayer and it was just really hard for me to find quality hair care for gray hair.
Tell us the story about your brand.
Yeah, so I can tell the story how the brand became. I was an early grayer. I actually did hair for 25 years. I was a natural hairstylist. And when I retired in 2020, I had ambition to be a soft life wife. I just wanted to relax. And I had worked so much between 18 and 38. I ended up having my daughter. And at that time, life was a lot slower because I wasn't working. This is the first time I've ever taken a break in 2020. And I was turning 40. And my hair, I was coloring my hair every 2 weeks for about 7 years. And I decided that I was not going to color my gray anymore and I wanted to grow my hair out. So I started my journey as a hairstylist and just tired of having that energy of coloring your hair. What do you have to going on? What event do you have doing this? It was just too much for me to keep up with. I'm like, I don't want to do it anymore. And so basically I started my journey. I started growing my hair out. Probably about after a year, I was starting to look for products that I could use on my hair. So with gray hair, it's very drying. It can be brittle. It's really hard to retain moisture. And I was going through hair care products that actually were professional grade because I'm a hairstylist. And I was just trying out different things. And so some things would work, some things wouldn't. And I just heard a voice. Because at first I was going to do gray hair content to show people from a hairstylist how to grow their hair out, different weaves, different extensions, different styles. And I wanted to show them like a modern way of beauty as you gray. So that was kind of like the thing. And I never did any content creating. So that was just like a new thing. But I was thinking like, oh, maybe I could do that because I really didn't see a lot of hairstylists that had been gray or early grayer that had that type of content. But then something just told me like, you should just do everything, do extensions, do hair care. And that kind of just started my journey. I went to a business conference in Dallas and I was talking to a lady and she's like, I can give you, some referral to some people, like some manufacturers and some chemists. I mean, we really just started from scratch and I just wrote down everything that I wanted. I wanted a hair care brand that kept the white hair whiter. I wanted my hair to feel very moisturized. I wouldn't have to use a lot of styling products. A lot of styling products have alcohol in them. And that would dry your hair out. So I was just looking for something that was really complimentary of my hair and make me feel more confident as an early grayer. And basically it was 2024. I created Slate Strands. So my salon was called Strand Cafe. So Slate Strands is kind of like an homage to my old business and my new business by calling it Slate as in gray and then Strand. And it's been a wonderful journey. We just launched in December. It took about 14 months to do everything, the packaging and the formulation. I ended up meeting a really amazing natural hair chemist that did all of our formulation. And she just worked with me. I told her the things that I liked, what I didn't like, some products that I liked that was on the market, but it could be a little bit better for gray hair. And it turned out great. I love it. I mean, it's only been 6 months since we launched, but being able to even be chosen to be at Beauty on the Block in Harlem, I didn't know anybody. I literally just was scrolling one night and I'm like, I'm going to apply.
What almost stopped you guys from launching?
Which stopped us. So last year when we started, it was in 2025, it was the tariffs. So the tariffs really, I had did so much marketing and branding to launch in October because we thought that we were going to have all of our products by July. And we did not get anything until December. It was literally like a 6-month. It was terrible. So it didn't stop us from launching, but I think that was the first disappointment because that's something that we didn't have any control over. And we had been in the market with our merch and just like content talking about gray hair for about 16 months. So we were really anticipating, I think, people, our early clients that really had bought into the brand, they were looking forward to us, having this great grand rollout. But by the time we got all of our things, it was literally the day after Thanksgiving, and it was so many things that was coming up, and Christmas. We still haven't even had like a really good big huge launch party because of the timing. It just didn't work, and we had spent so much money on just having that momentum for our launch. So I would say like the tariffs just really jacked us up.
What's something that people misunderstand about running a beauty brand?
A misunderstanding, I think for me, what I'm learning is just a lot of work, but I feel like in any business, that's how it is, especially in the beginning, you just want to have a solid foundation. For me, this is my second go around in entrepreneurship within the beauty industry, but of course, being retail, it's just way different. Like everything about beauty retail is different than being on the service side. So I just think that, people may make it look like it's like so fun. I think it's always like an audience facing branding, it's fun, it's cute, everybody looks cute. You got the photo shoots. You get to meet all these people, but on the background, in the back end of it, it's just a lot of work, especially for new founders like myself, where I do have a couple of people that help me, maybe about 3 or 4 people that's more so contract. My best friend helps me all the time, but we don't even have enough to pay, people, to employ people. So I have to do everything. I took a break from content for like 4 months because I just got so burned out from doing it for 16 months, trying to promote the brand. But for me, I just say this is all you can do by yourself. If I had a content creator, creating all of my content for me, and then I just have to show up, I'm sure I could have relaxed a little bit because I was burnt out, but not totally stop. But I just couldn't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm tired.
That happens all the time. As a founder, you wear so many roles.
Yeah.
You're checking in on orders online.
Yeah.
You got clients in person. Yes, there's so much stuff. Product safety, ingredients, making sure everything is working, making sure everything is going and marketed to the right audience.
Exactly.
It's just something that just comes with the cap,
It does. It does.
Yeah. What made you think that this product is needed in the market and beauty?
So for me, when I started doing my research, I really felt like the gray hair niche has a very negative tone because it is associated with age, but to the point where women are deemed as old or grandma, it's just it has a very old connotation. So when I was looking into like research and everything, it's like, why aren't women and men, because I plan on having, stuff for men too, why isn't there something for people to look to and feel happy about you? Like, hey, this is going to make my gray hair feel beautiful. It's going to be shiny. It's going to be white. It's not going to be yellow. Very much hydrated. Just supporting the confidence that you have. And I just feel like I equated it to like people going natural, like back a long time ago. You probably weren't born, but like in the early 2000s, when I first started doing hair, that was ending the era of relaxers. People were getting relaxers every 4 weeks, and they start saying like, oh, you should go natural, And I tell people, when I think of going natural, back then, the mentality was the same. People would say, there's no way I'm not getting a relaxer. I'm not. Like, I can't. And that's how they feel, women feel, because of ageism and how it's put on us in society, that you're an old woman because you have gray hair. People say, I cannot dye my hair. There's no way I can do that. And so I'm like, why? Because even with me, I never had a feeling of, I'm not going to look attractive. I'm not going to feel beautiful. I'm not beautiful. That never came across. It was always, is someone going to think I'm old? I don't want someone to think that I'm really old and I have a 5-year-old daughter. But that is what society tells women. Graying is not something to be celebrated. So for me, I think subconsciously, I felt that way. But then after I started realizing that, people just need resources. They need resources to amazing hair care, styles, how to support their journey, just same as going natural, the tutorials and everything like that. And after I really started thinking about it, it's like, I could be that person because I was a hairstylist and really show people, hey, if you don't want to cut your hair, it's going to take about 2 years to grow your hair out. Great. If you have longer hair. If you want to do a big chop and just grow it out, same thing. You can do a big chop. If you want to do some gray blending, that's fine, but there's still some maintenance, so just really giving that support as a hairstylist from every part of your journey. But for me, I didn't see that. And I just felt like for the beauty industry to be so vast, they still had a very archaic way of portraying gray hair beauty. I mean, even if you go into a hair store now, they really don't have it's like the smallest section for gray hair. And it's always deemed as like old or, I was telling people I did a big chop. I waited like 7 months and then I cut my hair. But like, say if I wanted to go out, I couldn't even find online or in store like a straight bob wig. I couldn't even find that. It was all like Medea wigs. Like why can't I you don't even have just a straight gray wig. Like, what's that? That's so crazy. So to me, the niche needs to be modernized. And that's like her old focus, is modern care for gray hair. That's what our slogan say, because it's basically saying we have modern ingredients. We have modern hairstyles to just help people. And if they are younger and they want to go gray, they're early grayer, they just feel supported. And they feel like they can do it. And I feel like going gray, it don't got nothing to do with your swag. You gonna have the swag no matter what, And I even tell men that I know they're still coloring their hair. You can still color your hair and think you trying to look younger, but you don't. And if you got the swag, it don't matter if you have the swag. It's gonna come no matter what. It's gonna come no matter what.
Yes. What's some lessons that you have learned being on the founder side and being as a stylist?
Some big lessons that I've learned is to give myself grace. I think that, for me being a hairstylist, and I tell people all the time, I could go to the hair store and buy a $50 flat iron and make $150, like immediately. Come to my house. I'll come to your house. Give me $60 for this flat iron. And I think that but I don't have anyone mentor me, so I really just don't know. You know what I mean? And I think that building the brand of a retail, because I want this to be a legacy brand, it takes a long time. The turnover is not at like service. Even you can say that for like, people with a catering company. That's like the easiest service industry. You can go buy all this food and make some, sell some dinners, outside your house and make your money back, So for me, that was a big, huge thing for me to like learn is like, hey, this is a slow process, but you're looking for quality community. You're looking for quality alignment with your brand. So it's going to take some time, but as long as you can just like, work it, cultivate it. And I have confidence in myself for doing that. But I think for me, like looking in that, like the long term, it's like, oh wow, so much time and effort with such little pay. But I like it though. Like I have clients that have bought, they've been buying from me and they're like repeat customers. And I'm like, yeah, like if you refer people, I'll give you a discount. Like it's a new brand that you just have to work and it'll get its momentum. But for me, that was a big thing for me to learn early on. It's like, okay, this is literally the same industry, but it's night and day how you can make money and how you, just everything is totally different.
And what's like a typical day for you?
So a typical day for me, so I tell people I have 3 jobs. I have 3 part-time jobs right now. So I'm like a stay-at-home mom. So stay-at-home mom with my daughter. She's 5 years old. She's at summer camp. So I do things as much as I can before she gets out at 4 o'clock. So I still work in salon. I still have my salon. And so I do more so like concierge clients. So if you have like a photo shoot or you're going to be on TV or something like that, like I'll do my clients that I used to do before. So I do a little bit of clients. And then for Slate, I pretty much fall in wherever. Like today was perfect because I'm going to do some content, do some editing. I work out in the morning. I try to work out every day. And I try to be done a little bit with everything, all facets of life by the time my daughter gets home. And then when she goes to sleep at 7, then I can go on. So if somebody, wants to meet with me later, I'll always say like, well, I can meet after 8 if it's not too late, because she'll be in the bed by then. But typically I tell people my hours of operation are 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Whatever, I'm not getting up earlier and I ain't staying up later. You gotta get me in that 12-hour
range.
Yeah, so that
Right.
means content, if I have to pack orders, if I have to bend, I need to be home by 11, okay? Yeah, by 11. But then we do a lot of bending in the summertime, and that's in the weekends. So that's typically like what I'm doing now.
What's one decision that you made that you was like, this is going to change the trajectory of the business?
One decision that I made, I think early on, the biggest decision I made was to not say yes to everything and make sure anything that you do is in perfect alignment with where you want to go. But that just comes with me, this being my second go round when it comes to entrepreneurship. I already kind of had an idea of like how it works. So I don't have to worry about making those mistakes. I think sometimes when you just want to get the word out, like, we're trying to decide what we're going to do in the fall months for vending. And I'm thinking about doing like some pop-up shops and salons and stuff in Columbus, maybe in surrounding areas, just to get the name out. But for me, it's like, we can have all of these ideas that may work, but we have to make sure it just aligns with the overall goal. We want people to feel confident that they are going gray, and they feel confident that, these products will work well on their hair long term. And that's what we're really trying to find, so we can have all the ideas in the world, but if it doesn't really align with our target market and also our core demographic, we just really can't do it. I think that really helps a lot, because people are always going to approach you, if they like your business or they feel like they can add value to your business, but you really just have to be sure, because a lot of that, even if they don't charge you, it's a lot of time and energy, and it's still some money, involved with anything that you do. So you just have to be careful, especially as a new because we don't have money this low, into like
you got to make the bread stretch as much as you can. I get that.
Yes.
If you was to restart your brand today, what is something that you would shift or focus on in prioritize?
If I was to restart it today, knowing that what I did before have done was focus more when I was doing like bending with the merch, I would have had some type of educational component, because I do feel like as a hairstylist, I should be showing that expertise whenever I can. And I kind of feel like I was really so focused on the aesthetics and the branding, which I do think is very strong, but that's kind of just like a gift that I have anyway. So, that's like where I thrive, is in like, having the branding and the wording and the language, like I'm really good with that. So I think I just overly focused on that and didn't really focus on me as a founder, giving my expertise along with that, because that is going to solidify the brand. You know what I mean? So now all of my content probably for the next 6 months is going to be on education, which is fine because, there's opportunity for me to have education for hairstylists for gray hair. There's a lot of different lanes that I can do to, make money for the brand. I'm down with that too. There's techniques and different things that people need to know about gray hair, for beautiful, healthy gray hair that we aren't taught in beauty.
And if you was to work with a content creator that for your brand, what was something that you would need to see before choosing that type of creator?
What I would like is when I see gray hair influencers, I'm like, oh my gosh, she would be so perfect for Slate. They embody their own confidence and their own style. You know what I mean? So they're not really chasing society's version of beauty. Some of them, if they're like really want to wear a lot of makeup, some of them may wear a lot of makeup, some might be more natural. And I just love that. Like, when you're aging as a woman, you always feel like beauty is at the forefront of like you're losing that. Like you're going to be in a negative. And it's like any woman that can grow their hair out gray, know that society looks at you as a grandmother, and still, really like embody who they are. I tell people all the time, like, loved my dark hair. I was obsessed with my black hair. I always had long black hair. Like, oh my gosh, I just love my black hair. And I was so sad about like, oh my gosh, my hair is not black anymore. Like, what is it going to look like? Are my eyebrows too dark? Is it not going to be, it's just like all these things. And I tell people at 43, I am more confident when it comes to how I feel on the inside and how I look on the outside than I ever have before. And I really think it's because I am authentically myself. It makes me feel like I'm a rebel against society's standard of beauty. You know, like I don't have to feel like, you know, I'm not gonna not color my hair until I'm 60. You know what I mean? It's like, no, this is me. I have gray hair. I was an early grayer and I love it. I actually love it. I get so many compliments, you know, but I feel like on the other side of that, I would never know that I would feel this way. You know, I never knew that a beauty brand that focuses on gray hair and modernizing niche is something that I would be passionate about. It actually reignited the entrepreneurship that I thought was gone. You know, it wasn't really gone. It was really that I just needed to find another space in an industry that I always loved. I've been doing hair since I was 13 years old. You know what I mean? This is a part of my life. And I always thought like, oh, I'll do something else. I don't want to do that no more because I had been doing it for so long. But it's okay. It's fine. Like, I'm happy about it. I love it.
Yeah, what are some green flags that you see in a creator that makes you say, I gotta reach out to them?
Kind of how I got here, you know? I have reached out to some. I just think the confidence, though. The confidence to me is like, you know, my demographic would be like 50 and over, but there's women that are so beautiful that are 50 and over that are early grayers. And I just love it. Like, you know, they might not have the same vibe that I give, you know, with my content, but
they got that look. Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
Like, when I get to where I need to be, I want you to be. They have it. I mean, just confidence, freedom, you know, free to be themselves. All of those things, like, they're really embody it. They're not trying to hide behind it, you know, or maybe still working between maybe wearing dark wigs because they want to cover it. You know what I mean? But they really are gray. Like, they're out here out loud. Y'all know I'm cute. And I'm like, yeah, girlfriend. I love it. You know, it's hard. I'm telling you, it's so hard for women in ageism because as you age, the society just exalts youth, especially when it comes to the beauty industry. You know, it's like the younger you are, the more fresh you are, you know? So that's kind of like my whole thing is like, we're going to age well. That don't mean that I ain't going to get no Botox when I turn 55. You know what I'm saying? But I want to feel confident. You know what I mean? I want to feel happy. I want to feel confident. So, you know, just because someone is pro-aging or they're exhausted in a way that they don't feel nervous about
the brand
aging, that
purpose
doesn't
is
mean
so
that they don't
beautiful.
want to prevent things.
This is really, really good. I'm just so happy. This is really great. What are some red flags when it comes to creators that you see that you're like, oh no, I can never?
The men, sometimes I feel like they're a little too sexual. The thirst trapping. It's like, you got to what's going on, abs? You know you fine. You know you 55. We know you got the abs, but you got your gray hair. But you ain't got to be walking around that. You ain't got to be doing all that. Why you doing all that? And I understand, you know, they still got it, so they want to flaunt it. But maybe for the men, I think that would be like, you're doing too much. I like a nice, quiet confidence.
What's some stuff that you think that, you know, creators should do more often if they want to get attention from a brand like
Thank you. What should creators do often? I think sometimes it's hard for me to like scout creators, especially if they have a big following, because I kind of feel like they, you know, expect smaller brands to have that same amount of money to spend or energy, you know, like this is a new brand, so I'm not like a big huge brand, so that's not really a lot that I can give. You know, I can give product, but that's kind of it. So I just feel like for me, when looking for a creator is somebody that's flexible, you know, like we can communicate properly, like, you know, what we can do together and just being open, you know, it's like I have to see you and feel like, you know, you're going to talk to our core audience, but at the same time, you have to believe in the product and know that, you know, this is going to be something that's bigger, you know, than what it is now. So I think that if you're easy to work with and, you know, just kind of help each other, like that's kind of where I am right now, like in the space of let's all help each other because I don't have a budget for creators. So like, you know, so I love it.
Yeah. No, this trend gotta go. It's terrible.
A trend that I wish they would disappear. Am I allowed to say that?
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Okay, this is for the men. So, like, I am a girl's girl, so I love everything that the boys are doing. So, I don't care. I don't think nothing is ugly. It's like, whatever, girl, do you.
The spray thing?
Like the Beijing.
You don't like
I'm
it?
sorry. The fake hairline, the fake beard line,
Okay.
coloring, all that. I just never, it could be me because I'm a hairstylist, but every time I see a guy with it, I just be looking like, why? I don't like it. And it seems like it's been like after they started doing it, the barbers, it's like not going away. It's here.
Wow.
They even do it's called an enhancement. They even do the hairline enhancement on kids. I can't. Why?
You don't like
But
non-natural
they're
stuff, I get it.
crispier, but I just don't like it. Like, it's artificial. It's not like, why? It's too bad. I just feel like, it's just a hairstylist. And okay, so you say you have a haircut and you might be thinning a little bit. Like, you round, so it's not so perfect. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Things like that. I just be looking like, no, that just looks a mess. And I'm like, no.
And what's the beauty trend that you love right now?
A beauty trend that I would be like, ew, get rid of it. Get rid of the Beijing and the enhancement. The beauty trend that I love right now. What is a beauty trend? Well, it's an old trend, but I am a U-part wig girl. So the U-part wig is a full wig, but your edges and the leave out is out. So it's similar to a sew-in, but you can take it off. And like all of the girls that I follow that say they have natural hair, but they're hairstylists, but they make U-part wigs and they also wear them. It just looks so beautiful and so natural. I just love it. So that is like, I'm always going to be a U-part wig girly for anybody. Like, just get a U-part wig. And another thing is, it's like less tension on your hair. So you don't have to worry about braiding and the threads and the sewing, cutting it out. You literally just clip it in, take it out. So I just feel like it's just universal, it's easy, it's flexible. And
if a celebrity was to be the voice of your brand, who would it be?
I have 3.
Yeah.
Celebrity? Who's a celebrity? That would be the voice of my brand.
I haven't thought about that in a while.
Is it Mara?
Naturally.
From Girlfriend? See, she was great. Like, she just launched her book. I think she's so beautiful. If I could have a celebrity that's like the voice of my brand, oh my gosh, I would love for her to be. I think she embodies, like a gray hair beauty. She's always been beautiful. She let her hair go gray. She was gone for a little bit doing her, inside work. Now she's popping out and it's like, oh my God. Tag me in her stuff all the time.
Last question.
I just think in the
what's
beginning,
the most thoughtful
my favorite customer meeting. Actually, I have a client. Her daughter found me on Facebook because when I was doing my content, I do a lot on Facebook and Instagram. And her daughter is like, oh, can you do my mom's hair? I'm like, I really don't do hair, but I can. If I'm available, I can do it. And so her mom came. She's an older lady. They were so super nice. They bought product the first time, they came. And she is a repeat customer. Like, she's buying. She's the only person that's bought like 3 times in a row, And I told her, I'm like, oh, I love that you just love the product. She's like, I'm only using your products. I love them. And she's like, when I come get my haircut, let me get some of that oil. So to me, like, that just makes me feel so happy because, she was complaining a lot. She wears her hair short. So she was just complaining a lot about like, her hair is too wiry. She feels like it's too dry. And I'm like, Slate is a very hydrating brand. So you're going to get that moisture that you need. And over time, you'll be able to see your hair is going to be softer. It's going to be whiter. It's going to be brighter. And the fact that she keeps buying is like, wow, I can't imagine. I mean, I can't now, but I know like with me, I am a repeat purchase for, brands that I like. But it's like, I can't even imagine, having a community that just only uses my brand of products, for years. That's so amazing. Like, just to have.
Yeah, it really makes the founder's journey all worth it.
People is coming back and having
people actually really be obsessed about the product more than you. And it feels like a connection right away. Instant. Okay, well, thank you, Chris. Anything you would like to say to the audience? Thank
you guys for having me. Thank you, Genesis, for having me and inviting me on to your Founders Series. Yep. I am so excited that we'll be able to finally meet again. And it will not be the last time. And if And this is what I tell people, hey, if you don't have gray hair, you might know someone that have gray hair. You can give this to them, but this is high quality hair care, modern hair care for gray hair. Very hydrating, hydrate retention, keep your hair soft and white for many years to come. And it will help you help gray hair be more manageable. And yeah, I'm Chris, the founder of Slate Strands, and you can follow me on Instagram or
Thank you for watching.
TikTok.
And have a good one.
And eventually we'll have a page on as well. Thank you.